So Bhagavatam flow that we are seeing, that Brahmaji, like creation has started from Lord Vishnu, and Brahmaji, he was instrumental in doing secondary creation. He has produced several living entities, sages, and he also, seeing that population was not growing rapidly, he produced Manu and Shatadruti. So through Manu, so the after creation of these different sages, now how the universe is populated, that is being described. So in that dynasty, so in the Swayambhu Manu dynasty, the first Manu, that is being explained. So in the Swayambhu Manu, we have seen Swayambhu Manu has 2 sons and 3 daughters. So first he, Maitreya Muni narrated the history of the 3 daughters, Devahuti, Prasuti, and Akuti. So Devahuti episode in that Kapila section we have seen, and Akuti and Prasuti in that connection, the episode of Daksha Prajapati and Lord Shiva and Sati that has come. So till now that has gone. Now the 2 sons of Swayambhu Manu, Uttanapada and Priyavrata, those are going to be explained. So 4th canto till the end, the dynasty of Uttanapada will continue. In 5th canto, we'll start with the Priyavrata Maharaj dynasty. So before starting that, the Maitreya Muni, like Brahmaji's different sons and their daughter, different sons, their marriages with the daughters of Daksha, that was narrated. So he, daughters of Devahuti. Now he narrates about little bit about the remaining sons also, little in brief. So Kumara son Narada, they remained as brahmacharis. So they maintained that. And then like there is a one more son of Brahma, he is called as Adharma, irreligion. So this Adharma got married to a wife called falsity, Dambam. So through that, irreligion has propagated in this world. So through that, they have produced 2 sons called Damba and Maya. So son and daughter, but still they married. So that is how the Adharma started. And then they again produced Damba and Maya, cunning and greed. So these are like, we can see these names also suggest how the adharma propagates in this world. So when this irreligion and falsity is there, which gives rise to bluffing and cheating, which further gives rise to greed and cunning, which may turn into, when their desires are not fulfilled, greed is not fulfilled, anger may arise, or someone else is having more opulence than us, then envy may turn out. So out of anger and envy, one will start speaking harsh speech and there will be quarrels among one another. So these are all respective sons and daughters that are being born there. And then harsh speech, and that may lead to death and fear, bhaya and mrityu. And because of that, it may lead to hell and excessive pain. So this is in brief, the lineage of Adharma, starting from Brahma that has come. So like this, like not only at the creation of Brahmaji, not only Dharma, but Adharma is also started. That is because there are different kinds of living entities who had their previous impressions, so which are being their previous impressions, which are like wrong impressions, so they want to enjoy adharma, so they were taking birth in these places. So in this way, the description of briefly of adharma is given. So Falashruti is given that anyone who hears this 3 times, they will attain piti and piety, and they will their sinful reactions will go away. So briefly, this is described. So now we will see the famous pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj pastime is so famous that many times whenever Bhagavatam is being described in Bhagavad Sapta or any other pastimes, so mostly the Dhruva Maharaj story is often quoted. Even I remember in my intermediate, there is a subject called Sanskrit. So in that Sanskrit subject, this story, Dhruva Maharaj story is there. So it is like so famous. And so we'll discuss. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when he was there as sannyasi, he always used to hear the stories of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj again and again. Hundreds of times he used to hear the same pastime with Gadadhar Pandit. So such is the famous pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. It has so many lessons. So we'll see what all we can learn. So descendants of Swayambhu Manu, we are seeing, as I mentioned. So Swayambhu Manu has two sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, and they are all said to be like vibhutis, or like the vibhutis of the Lord. That means they are powerful representatives of the Lord, also we can say there. And out of them, Priya Uttanapada story is being now narrated. So Priyavrata, he was more inclined to perform devotional service, and he was not so much interested in ruling the kingdom. So although he was the elder, so he was performing tapasya and worshipping the Lord. So therefore Uttanapada, who was younger brother, he was kind of became king. Later on in 5th canto, we'll see. Although in Uttanapada dynasty, like one of the person, Daksha, he went to perform tapasya and there is no king. So Priyavrata Maharaj, he would not want to rule, but still, because he was so much attracted to perform bhakti and he was engaged there. But still, since there was no ruler, Swayambhu Manu forces him to take to the administrative duties. So that comes in 5th canto, we'll see. So now Uttanapad was ruling. So Uttanapad had two wives. So their names were Suniti and Suruchi. So Suniti and Suruchi, out of them, Suruchi was very much dear to Uttanapad, and Suniti was not so much dear. Suniti was elder wife, but Suruchi was more dear. So here, one analogy we can also see. Suruchi is like immediate happiness, maybe coming out of sense gratification. But Suniti is like representing like more morality kind of thing. So when one is like little bit more inclined towards sense gratification, that will appear more favorable than the dharma or other things. So Suniti was very not so much favorable, but Suruchi is very favorable. And through Suniti, she had a son called Dhruva, and Suruchi had a son called Uttama. So one time the Uttama was sitting on the lap of Uttanapad, and Uttanapad was nicely caressing Uttama. So seeing Dhruva has approached Uttanapad, seeing that Uttama is sitting on the lap of father, because he is also son, he also want to sit on the father's lap. So he also went so that father could pick him up. But Uttanapad, seeing that Suruchi was around, and he was little bit afraid what Suruchi might say, because Suruchi's son is Uttama and Dhruva is son of Suniti. So he had like some like thinking that maybe Suruchi may not like this act. So he did not welcome Dhruva. So seeing that, Suruchi has observed that, Dhruva was trying to ascend to the lap of Uttanapad, but Uttanapad did not welcome. So Suruchi, observing that scene, she immediately started speaking to Dhruva with the words that are used is that with great envy, with great envy and with great pride. So the words of Suruchi are endowed with envy and pride. So Bhagavatam, when it is describing characteristics, so it also brings out many characters. Like some characters are very, very positive. We'll see the next character, Suniti, how she is positive. And some characters are display like negative. So these qualities, when we analyze, deeply understand, and try to study deeply, then we understand positive and negative, and we avoid the negative and we develop the positive. Such means so that's how we progress. So Suruchi, she is having lot of envy and pride because king noticed that although Dhruva was also a son of king, but king out of uh, love for him or out of affection for him or out of attachment for him, for her, he was not willing to take Dhruva into his lap. So understanding that king was giving a lot of respect, or he was attached to me, she was taking a lot of undue advantage. So we can also see similar episode in Ramayana also, right? Dasharath Maharaj had three wives, Kaushalya and Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi. So similar case, like for external lesson case, Kaikeyi also very much favorite of Dasharath. And so Dasharath Maharaj used to neglect Kaushalya, and he was always used to give a lot of favor to Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi also once took that advantage and vanished around. So here also we can see. So Suruchi, she was speaking and taking advantage of that situation. She was speaking. So what she was speaking? So she directly spoke to Dhruva. She spoke that, oh Dhruva, you don't deserve to sit on the lap of your father. And so that means you don't deserve to sit on the throne of your father. So it's like she was directly connecting that how the sitting on the lap of King Uttanapad is like later on when they both grew older, he may want to sit on the throne and rule the kingdom. She was indicating that also. You don't deserve to sit on the throne or the lap of the king, because although you are the son of the king, but your position is you did not take birth from my womb. So therefore you are not qualified. So although you are the son, but actually your disqualification is you did not born from my womb. You born from some other woman. So therefore you are not favorable. You are not suitable to sit here. So whatever you are attempting, that will fail, and your desire to sit on the throne or the lap will not be. It is not possible to fulfill. But in case if you still have some desire to sit on the lap of your father or the throne, then there is one way. What is that way? You just worship the Supreme Lord Narayana, and then when you are favored by Lord Narayana, then what will happen by the blessings of Narayana? You can take birth in my womb. So uh, basically, she was saying that you worship the Lord Narayana, and when he asks for boon, you can ask for taking birth in my womb. That means you die now and take birth in my womb, then you will be able to ascend to the throne. So she was out of pride. She was not actually like so much devotee that she is asking him to worship Lord Narayan. Out of pride or out of wanting to show to Uttanapada that I am also a devotee. See, I am advising him to worship Lord Narayana. So that pride she was exhibiting. So she was not like a devotee and advising to worship Lord Narayana. So she was telling that you die now, and then in next birth you can take birth from my womb, and then uh, you can become the king. So in this way, like very harsh words she spoke. So hearing those very harsh words, Dhruva's heart was like pierced. He was a Kshatriya. For Kshatriya, they can tolerate any other thing, but not the harsh words. So like they can tolerate any amount of arrows being stuck on their body, but if some harsh words insulting them, that will come, they will not be able to tolerate. So Dhruva became so angry, but he was so child. So it was like his position is like just like a snake when someone touches that tail of a snake, it will become very angry and shows his thing like that. He was like breathing very heavily, and he immediately left from that place crying because he cannot do anything. And his father also not speaking anything. So out of anger, out of grief, he was crying and immediately left that place and went to his mother. So his mother was Suniti. And Suniti got to know what happened in that place from her maid servants. So Suniti also very much agreed uh, to the events that happened because Suruchi has spoken very harshly, and she was also crying because these harsh words were spoken, and she immediately she picked Dhruva on her lap and started pacifying Dhruva. So these words of Suniti to her son were uh, very instructive, and how how one can guide their children, or how one can parenting, art of parenting also Suniti is teaching here. So first thing that she spoke was that uh, first thing she spoke was that you don't maintain or you don't think any inauspicious thing for others. So means although Suruchi has spoken so many harsh words, Suniti was telling that don't maintain any uh, negative feelings towards Suruchi, or don't think ill fortune of others. And why? So that is because uh, anyone who inflicts pain upon others, they suffer themselves that pain. So now, if you think that Suruchi has spoken something something wrong, and you want to take revenge or you want to maintain some ill feelings, that is not at all. That is, if you maintain ill feelings, you will also suffer those ill feelings in future. And moreover, this also implies that like previously, don't identify with the immediate cause of your suffering. That means like something happened, someone spoke some harsh words or someone did something, we can see that immediately he is the cause for my suffering or for my pain. But we should see beyond the immediate person, that actually it is he is only an instrument in bringing me my karma. Previously, I might have done something, and because of that, through this person, this bad situation has arisen, or through this person, I am experiencing this suffering. So we see beyond the immediate cause, we go beyond the immediate person, and we ultimately see that Lord has sanctioned this to happen to me. That's why this is happening. Unless the Lord's sanction is there, this this pain that I'm experiencing will not come through. This person is only an instrument. So someone is beating someone with some stick. So that stick is only an instrument in the hands of someone higher authority. So similarly, the immediate cause that is coming to us through some person, that person is only an instrument, and there is some higher cause behind that. Maybe because of my previous activities, the Lord has sanctioned that this misery should come to me. So therefore, I will accept. So therefore, I will not immediately, but we may take the action for the immediate person if that is required. But we need not restrict our anger, or we may not become angry towards that person, but we can deal with that situation so that that person will not commit that mistake or will not torture others in future. If that is required, we will take. But for personal thing, our consciousness is that we don't think that this person is responsible for my suffering. My suffering is actually resulting from my own identification with this body and the mind and my own past misdeeds. So, like basically, our mind only creates all the suffering. That is analysis of Bhagavatam. Because we identify with this body and the mind, that will cause pain. So don't think bad about, don't think inauspicious for others. That means uh, this is the teaching of even Gita, Bhagavad Gita also, that uh, a person who is situated in knowledge, he will not have anyone, he will not consider anyone as his enemy. Although others may consider him as an enemy, but he will not consider anyone as his enemy. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is called as Ajata Shatru. That means he doesn't have any enemies. But how come Yudhishthir Maharaj doesn't have enemies? Because Duryodhana and all others, they're always trying to harm him. So Yudhishthir did not maintain any enmity towards them. It is they that Duryodhana and others, they maintained enmity towards Yudhishthir and they have come. But Yudhishthir always wished well for all other things. So therefore, it is very important to see the causes that are coming in our life and identifying that Supreme Lord sanction is there. So therefore, one need not think any inauspiciousness for any others. We should always be well-wishing friends for all others. So, and in fact, what like if we think that oh, if I don't act, how will that person will be punished? So for that person also, the law of karma or the Supreme Lord will take care. So we need not wish ill fortune. In fact, we can pray for them. That is like even more higher things. So the teachings of Bhagavatam and other personalities, that is that they even pray for personalities who harm them. So the Lord and the law of karma, all these things will be there. So we need not wish any ill fortune for others. So so in this way, Suniti was pacifying Dhruva, and then she says that actually your Suruchi, your father, did not consider me even as his wife, or even as he doesn't even consider me as his maid servant also. Such low position he gives. He doesn't, he feels ashamed even to accept me as wife. So therefore, it is a fact that you are born from an unfortunate woman. So uh, Therefore, your stepmother Suruchi, although she spoke very harshly, but she advised to worship Lord Narayana. So therefore, if you want to sit on the throne of your stepbrother, or if you want to sit on the throne, you want to become king, then give up all your envious attitude towards all others. And whatever she said, that worshipping the Lord Narayana, you worship him, you worship the Supreme Lord Adokshada. So, what is the advantage of worshipping the Supreme Lord? Supreme Lord, that by worshipping his lotus feet, your grandfather, Lord Brahma, great grandfather, Lord Brahma, because Dhruva's father is Uttanpad. Uttanpad's father is Swayambhu Manu. Swayambhu Manu father is Brahma. So great grandfather Brahma and your grandfather Manu, both of them, they became perfect and they became eligible to, Brahmaji became eligible to create the universe, create the populations, and Manu became so much eligible for ruling the entire world. So just because they worship the lotus feet of the Lord, they became so successful. So therefore, if you also take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, you will also become successful. And great yogis, they worship the Lord, controlling their senses and mind in order to achieve their perfection. So Manu became great king. So therefore, in order to achieve any material happiness in this world, if one takes shelter of Lord, whatever one wants, even material happiness or liberation, anything, or like one wants to remove their distress, everything can be achieved by worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and which all other devatas, they may not award so much things, but Lord Vishnu can award these things. So therefore, you take shelter of Lord. Tameva vatsa vritya vatsalam mumukshibirgudya padabja paddhati ananya bhave nija dharma bhavite manasya vastapya bhajasva purusham. So Tameva Vatsa, oh Vatsa, my dear child, you take shelter of that person is very much Bhritya Vatsala. So this word Bhritya Vatsala is very, very important. So Bhritya Vatsala is means the Lord is very, very inclined favorably towards his servants or his devotees. Bhritya means servant or devotee. So if one takes shelter of the Lord, become his servant or become his devotee, that person, like he is very, very affectionate. You are thinking, I am a mother and I can award you, I can award you affection or take away your misery. But although I have intention to remove your misery, I don't have capacity to remove your misery. So, but some people might have capacity to remove your misery, but they don't have any inclination to remove your misery. But Lord is not like that. He has both capacity and inclination to remove the misery, award anything that his devotees want. So therefore, you take shelter of me. And you are thinking that I am mother and I am affectionate to you. But Lord is so much kind to his devotees that his kindness is compared to millions of mothers like me. And it will surpass his the affection that he shows to his devotees surpasses all other things. He has so much tender dealings. So Lord's affection towards his devotee, that generally someone we can see that, like someone, if someone opposes someone, right? Someone wants to uh, someone wants to disobey him or want to go away from him. He is insulting him. So someone might, he will leave that person, and then he may even harm that person. But the Lord, although living entities, they are all originally the servants of the Lord, but they don't want to obey Him, or they want to enjoy separately from Him, and uh, they want to be away from Him. Still, the Lord has orchestrated this whole material world and created so many bodies so that the living entities can enjoy separate from Him. And also, He provided various ways so that the living entities again they can come back to Him. So, in this way, like He is showing so much mercy to all the living entities. Although, like someone is supplying so many things, but even if the person who is receiving, although he is not acknowledging that someone is supplying, but still he keeps on supplying. So that's how all the Lord maintaining this material world. All the Lord is supplying everything, and all the living entities doesn't recognize him as the supplier of everything, but still he continues to maintain this world. And he is always accompanying the living entities as a super soul, guiding them what is correct. So, and in this way, Lord shows affection to every living entity, and especially to his devotees, whoever takes shelter of him or whoever starts worshipping him, he slowly becomes conquered by his devotees. So that is the nature of Bhritya Vatsala. So in fact, Damodar Leela and 10th Canto, it will come. Krishna, he was like Yashoda tries to bind him. So like like although he is the Supreme Lord, controller of the whole world, everything, but still he becomes bound by the affection of Mother Yashoda. So that shows that he is controlled by his devotees. So that Bhritya Vashyata, that nature of coming under the control of his devotees, and he was like, although he doesn't have desire to become bound at that point of time, Krishna, but still seeing the affection of Mother Yashoda, seeing her efforts, his desire changed and he became bound. So that is how, although he is independent, he will become bound by the affection of his devotees. And he also, and Krishna wanted to go away from Hastinapur to his Dwaraka, but bound by the affection of Yudhishthir, he stays in Hastinapur. And bound by affection of Pandavas, he even acted as a charioteer. The position of charioteer is, driver position is generally very low in this world, right? But still, Krishna accepted the position of a driver out of affection for his devotees. So, although on one hand, as a Paramatma, as a Supreme Lord, controller of this universe, he has great position. But when it comes to the dealings with his devotees, the nature of prema, the nature of bhakti, the nature of affection will come out from the Supreme Lord. So that's how he is called as Bhritya Vatsala. So therefore, you take shelter of that Bhritya Vatsala, that Supreme Lord, and his lotus feet are being searched by great sages. Everyone in this great sages also, in order to attain their goals, they search for his lotus feet. So in to him, with Ananya Bhave, with your complete heart, with your Nija Dharma, with your complete uh, with your bhakti, you worship that Supreme Lord. Manasyavastapya bhajasya Purusham. To place your mind on that Lord and worship Him. So He can remove your distress. I don't see anyone in this world other than Supreme Lord to remove your distress. And even great personality like Brahma, they seek favor of goddess of fortune Lakshmi Devi. But goddess of fortune Lakshmi Devi, she is always inclined to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. So therefore, if you want any uh, advancement in your Lakshmi, that means opulences or any other boon you want, then the best way is to for any material benedictions, the best way is to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, Suniti also advised Dhruva to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So hearing those words of Suniti, Dhruva was like currently he was so much affected and he has Kshatriya blood. Kshatriya blood means it boils when someone insults. So it's like he considered the words of Suniti and understood that he needs to, if he at all he wants to become successful, his desire now is that he want to sit on the throne of his father or wanted to even better than the throne of his father. So that's how he has become developed that desire to overcome even Surichi and Uttama and become the greatest like that. That is it, that has become. So he was he wanted to fulfill that desire. So hearing, understanding Suniti's words, he deliberated on this, and with so much determination, he left that palace to worship Lord Narayana, so that to fulfill his desire of becoming the greatest king in this world, more than his father. So, seeing that Dhruva was at that time, he was like 4 or 5 years old, and seeing that he has a lot of determination to worship the Lord, that Narada Muni got to know that a small person, 4 or 5 years, somehow he got developed desire to worship Lord Narayana, and with determination he is coming to worship Lord Narayana. So immediately Narada got to know, and he approached Dhruva and started speaking. So here one can see that uh, Narada was a great devotee of the Lord, and Lord, the Lord is situated in everyone's heart, right? The As a super soul, as a Paramatma, he knows everyone's desires, he knows everyone's actions, and everyone's determination, everything. So when someone is desiring to worship him, the Lord directs someone to to a guru who can guide him. So Narada Muni, as being the devotee of the Lord, he also got to know the desires of the Lord, and he also understand that Dhruva wanted to worship the Lord, so he approached him. So here, Narada Muni, before approaching him, he was thinking in his mind. Uh, he says, "Aho teja kshatriyanam manabhangam amrushyatam." Just see the power of the Kshatriyas. How surprising the power of Kshatriyas, that they cannot tolerate any insult for them. Manabhanga, like some prestige of them, it was hurt. They will not be able to tolerate. He is a bala, he is a child, little child only, but he, just because her stepmother spoke some words, he was unable to bear them and came to worship the Lord. So he is not able to tolerate. So he came to Dhruva and started speaking. So Dhruva, uh, Narada Muni, he started speaking that, "Oh Dhruva, you are a small boy, and small boy generally they will get attached to sports and other. You have to attach to sports and other things. So why you are taking so much into your heart the insulting words of your mother, your stepmother? So don't get affected by honor and dishonor." So, like, even if you say I'm not attached to play, why you are taking so much into consideration of these harsh words? And so, even if you feel that these dissatisfaction, some insulting words, you should not become affected by these insults, because Actually, all these insults or anything, these are all coming from the Maya of the Supreme Lord, because everyone is bewildered by the Maya of the Supreme Lord. He is bewildered by these happiness or distress or mana, apamana. So every living entity actually his the activities that he has done to previously due to his karma, those only he enjoys now. So he enjoys the sufferings are enjoying that comes through his previous activities. So therefore, you should not get bewildered by these insulting words that are coming, identifying come from the illusory energy of the Lord. And the you are therefore you should be very satisfied and satisfied with whatever comes on your way. One who is intelligent, he should accept whatever the favorable things or unfavorable things that will come by the will of the Supreme Lord. So that understanding that everything has arisen from the will of the Supreme Lord, you should be satisfied. You should not worry about positive, like something positive or negative things, favorable, unfavorable that is happening. Again, this point of Narad Muni is again stressing the same thing, that in our life there may be so many good things that are happening or sometimes bad things that are happening, but one should be able to understand that all these things are happening because of my previous activities. So understanding that one should be situated in like seeing equally, one should situate in bhakti, so that in that way one will happily, he will not be disturbed by positive and negative things that will happen in this life. If one understands that everything is happening by the sanction of the Lord. So you are now, your mother has advised to worship to the Lord, and you have come here to worship the Lord. But you know how difficult it is to satisfy the Lord. You know, even great mystics, they are trying to attain the Lord, but they are not able to attain even after performing tapasya for many months. So even great mystics have failed. So therefore, it is therefore you should stop this endeavor, and because it will not give up successful. So therefore it is better for you to go home. And when you grow a little bit older, so at that time you may perform uh, these activities and attain the mercy of the Lord. So now it is not good for you to do. And he says, Yasya yadaiva vihitam satena sukha dukkayo atmanantoshayam dehi tamasa paramrichate. So, very nice verse. Whatever uh, sukha and dukkha that will come to us by the daiva vihitam, by the plan of the Lord or by the destiny of the Lord. So, with that only, if one satisfies themselves, those persons will be able to cross over this tamas, cross over this andhakara, cross over the darkness of nations. Again and again, these principles are coming in Bhagavatam, that one should be satisfied with whatever comes in their way through the will of the providence. So then they will be able to cross over the darkness of nations. So how the miseries will come, who will not suffer miseries? Very nice verse he quotes. Gunadikan mudam dipse anukrosham gunadama maitrim samana dharviche natapeira vibhuyate. So if one does these three things, one will become very happy and he will not get affected by uh, he will not get affected by miseries. What is that? Gunadikan mudam lipse. One should be satisfied if someone sees someone is having more qualities than him, more virtuous qualities. He should become very happy seeing those persons. And if someone is having less qualities than him, Gunadama, for them one should show mercy, anukrosha. And if someone is having equal qualities with us, then one should show maitri, that is friendship towards them. So in that way, when one performs these three things, natapair abhibhuyate, he will not experience any suffering if he does these three things. So generally in this world, if we see envious people or people in general, that if someone is more qualified than uh, someone, he may become envious of him. Or if someone is less qualified, he may tend to deride them or insult them. Or if someone is equal, he may become competitor to them or become proud of his own and become competitor to them. But if we do reverse, then we will become very happy. We should be jolly, very happy to receive someone more qualified than us. Or if we see someone less qualified than, instead of being oppressive, we should be very much compassionate toward them and raise them to proper stand. And when one sees one equal, instead of becoming competitive, we can treat that person as a friend and we can together work together and in general. So in this way, develop friendship with them. And instead of advertising himself as greater than the other person, he can become friendship and appreciate the good qualities in that person. So in this way, uh, by dealing in these three ways, that person will not get any miseries in this world. In this way, Narada Muni has very nicely advised Dhruva that don't take these things very seriously. So, but hearing those words, Dhruva, he was not pacified. And he says that actually, uh, my mental, although you are speaking very nicely, these are very, very nice, good instructions. But these instructions are not suitable for me at this point of time because my heart is pierced by harsh words of Surichi. So he was saying that your words are very nice for a person's like Brahmanical nature, but I am a Kshatriya, so my heart was already pierced by the words of Surichi, so it was broken. So just like valuable things or anything, some water will not stay in broken part. Similarly, your valuable instructions are not staying in my heart. These may be suitable for Brahmanas. So please advise me a suitable path by which I can attain perfection. So I can achieve what I want. So what I want, he says that Padam Tribhuvanotkrishtam. I want a I want a place which is even greater than the three worlds. And please like and even greater than the thing that is achieved by my father and grandfather. So if you are able to give that position, which even position greater than even my father or grandfather, so please advise an honest path so that I can achieve my goal of life. So means like he was asking that I want an honest path. I don't want any dishonest path to achieve that. So please give me an honest path to achieve my goal of life. So now Dhruva's goal is to even achieve the position higher than his grandfather. And then he praises Narada Muni that you are a son of Lord Brahma, and you wish all the welfare of the entire world. You are like sun who can move everywhere and rotates, works for the benefit of all other living beings. Therefore, you can direct me. So please fulfill my desire. So like that, he prayed to Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, he became pleased with the words of Dhruva, and he was very much because Dhruva, although he rejected his advice, he honestly admitted his shortcomings and asked him to show a proper path so that he can fulfill that desire. So therefore, Narada became very pleased and he gave the wonderful advice. So his advice is to worship the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. So he directs him to perform bhakti so that Lord will fulfill the desires of Dhruva. So he says, like, whatever the path that was shown by your mother, so that is actually very auspiciousness for you, because when Vasudeva, when he is worshipped, that he can award you all the desires. So therefore, you should completely worship the Lord Vasudeva. I recommend you to perform bhakti towards Lord Vasudeva. Anyone who desires dharma, artha, or kama, or even moksha, anything if one wants to achieve, if one takes shelter of, or if one wants what is good for himself, so the greatest good will come per person who has taken shelter of the Lord Hari and worshipping his lotus feet. So that will fulfill all the desires of anyone. So those things will fulfill. So therefore, you go to the bank of river Yamuna, and there is a nice Punya forest called Madhuvana, and there you can worship the Lord, Lord there, and that there in Madhuvana, Lord always resides there. So that means Madhuvana is like a place in Vrindavan itself. It comes under the area of Vrindavan. So Narada Muni is advising him, Dhruva, to go to Madhuvan, which is also Vrindavan, where the Lord Hari always resides there. So this is like where it is indicating that it's not that in Vrindavan, Lord has performed his pastimes and now he has disappeared. Lord always resides in Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja ekam na padam gachi. So Lord will not leave even one step by leaving Vrindavan. Always resides there. So anyone, even now also, if one visits the great sacred places like Vrindavan, one can experience the presence of the Lord. Lord always lives there. So you go to Madhuvan on the bank of river Yamuna, and you worship the Lord. So there in the river Yamuna, you take your bath 3 times daily, which is very Yamuna river is very auspicious, sacred, and clear. And after taking bath, you should perform regulative principles for Ashtanga Yoga for some time by asana and other things, and then perform pranayama and control your mind and senses, and completely little bit contamination is removed. With great patience, you start meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, how you meditate? He is situated in everyone's heart and he is also situated everywhere. So his form is being described. So Narada Muni describes the wonderful form of the Lord, which is very, very auspicious. So we will discuss this wonderful form of the Lord in the next section. Further instructions of Narada Muni to Dhruva and how Dhruva performed those activities and achieved perfection and attained the greater kingdom, even greater than all the persons in this world by worshipping the Lord. So Lord has fulfilled the desires of Dhruva. So all these things we will consider in the next time. So maybe I will stop here.
Okay, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for joining. Any comments or anything? Otherwise, we'll end here. We continue.
Okay. I have no comment.
So,
Hare Krishna.
thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Ki Jai,
Thank
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.